Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about FC Edmonton. For a thousand reasons, and without sort of beating this to death, this is so unusual in terms of preseasons, and certainly more extreme for leagues that were in action and they're now on hiatus. But for the CPL, you guys were really just starting to ramp up. The season was right around the corner, and then everything was put on pause. So before all of this came to fruition, where were you feeling about your team, and with a recent signing yesterday as well that we'd love to hear your thoughts on? What are you feeling about FC Edmonton right now today?
Well, the guys will probably laugh because no matter what, I always think my players are the best, and we've got a good side. And but we were excited. We had about 8 sessions in when we had to call it quits. We were excited what we're seeing. We're changing the way that we're playing this year. The players have all bought in. We brought in. Again, I didn't think we needed wholesale changes at this club. I appreciate how far back in the standings we were. Everybody was to the top 2 teams. But, for me, I just, for example, Calgary, I look at our games against them. And yes, we never beat them once. And that's, I own that. But the game they beat us 3-0, we were the better side for 68 minutes. And for the first 35, absolutely played them off the park like no other team had, I think, at that point of the year. And the game that we drew 0-0 there, we should have won that game. We could have tied the game if it wasn't for Carducci. The first game we lost 1-0 there. So I didn't think that. I don't personally believe that we're as far behind as Calgary as people say. They had a nice head start. They had their roster built the year prior, a good piece of it, and they had good chemistry coming in. Tommy is a good coach and did a good job. So I'm not looking for an excuse on that. I'm not taking away credit. But I just didn't feel that we had to make wholesale changes. What we've done here is we've kept a good core, and we've created a better balanced roster. We brought in more left footers. Duran Lee is a great addition. Duran Lee's not a central defender. He's actually more of an attacking type defender. He loves to get on the ball and dribble. When he played in the Ontario League One, he was more of a central midfield player that liked to dribble with the ball. His highlights are all of him dribbling and going past players. So we'll use him in a role he gets to do that. And Ramon Sarria was brought in to be a central defender. He'll move to the back line, which puts him on his left foot, which gives us now the ability to play out. So you've got Ramon on the left playing out to Duran Lee, left footer as well. But actually we had 2 right footers. Mele Tanguia, probably the most underrated central defender last year in the league. No one talked about him because we had Amir.
Talked about him a little bit. I talked about him a little bit.
Yeah, you have, Kurt. Actually, you have given him credit, and I appreciate that. He'll go to his right foot, and of course we bring Amir Didic into the lineup, who's for me the best defender in our league. So we're really happy. Eric Zetterberg we brought in is honestly he'll remind people of a young Becker. His ability to get on the ball and see a pass, and his passing range is phenomenal. Really delighted. And then, of course, the addition of these attacking players, Hanson Boakai, Royal Tito, and now Keven Aléman. These 3 give us, basically, you've got 3 kind of Borges type players, that now get to join up in our attack. And I'm delighted to see what they can do to this league. And of course, Easton. So we're really happy where the team was at. It sucked that we had to stop, but we just can't wait to get going. We're really excited about this roster. We feel we're so balanced. We've got about 8 left footers now in this squad. Balance across the pitch, competition for places. Edem Martazzi's an underrated player that no one talked about, but at the end of the season, the last 3 games, you saw his ability just to get on the ball and dribble past players. He's a big part of that. Alan Zeeby as a holding midfield player. And I say this, everyone knows I absolutely love Nick Ledgerwood. And but Alan Zeeby kind of really, pushed him a bit in that position in 2017 at FC Edmonton, because Alan Zeeby is a very good holding midfield player because he's got this energy level that's quite high. He's a good ball winner. He'll move back to that position for us. So we're just happy where we're at.
Jeff, just reflecting back on last year. So from where I'm sitting, one of the positives for you was I think you got maybe much more than you would have thought you were going to get out of guys like Ngaro. And then we saw Prince Amanda come on later in the season and show what he has on to offer. And these young players who maybe you thought would take a bit of a back seat in 2019 because you had so many veteran players that I think had proven themselves at one point at, a good level.
Right.
What I'm trying to ask is, did some of the veteran guys not play up to the standard you expected them to last year? And did that ultimately hurt you the most?
Yeah, I think, so I brought in some, so obviously, some of the senior pros I brought in are very good players. And there's a combination of things there, Kurt. I think that, a new league, some of the players I brought in hadn't played, and maybe you look at some of the players that didn't, hadn't played in about 8 or 9 or 10 months, with the NASL shutdown, so they didn't find a USL team. So we had that issue to start off with. We had some injury issues for some key players, that didn't get enough playing time due to injury. That really could have been impact players for us. But I have to take responsibility for that. Whether it was the system I tried to play, I tried to force out that 4-3-3 that maybe didn't suit the personnel at the time. So I'll own some of that. But yeah, I mean, I also underestimated the level of the CPL in year one. When you're looking at some of these players that were dominant players in NASL to come in, I just assumed they'd be a dominant player in this league, and that was inaccurate on my point, or on my part. Sorry, and so I'll wear this, a little bit. I don't want to speak too negatively about the players that came here year one, because I still do believe in every single one of them that I brought into this roster, Kurt. Last year, I wish them all, the ones we didn't retain, I wish them all the best of luck going forward. And these are good players that, and you know what it is, some players are going to be able to play for certain managers over others for some reason, or for various reasons. I might not have been a good fit for some of these players either. And so, you have to look at it that way. But yeah, now if you switch that conversation to these young kids, then yeah, I mean, we made a decision here, right from day one, that I didn't want to bring in 20-year-olds to satisfy the U21 role. I wanted to bring in 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds, and I want to get young Canadians into our lineup, into professional football. By the time these kids are actually 20, they'll have all 3 years in the league. And that was the route that I wanted to take, and it's going to pay off. I mean, Marcus Valletta looks fantastic in preseason. Another young boy I signed, Anthony Caceres, is just, this kid's going to surprise people. Chance Carter that I brought back home. These are all ex-academy players. Chance and Anthony went to the Whitecaps. They're going to surprise people, Kurt. And Prince Amanda, another year under his belt, a bit of confidence. Hopefully we'll see what we saw from him. And of course, Easton.
Yeah.
Jeff, obviously the CPL is kind of a unique beast in some ways, in that you have a salary cap, you have certain roster rules, and then you have the kind of conditions of the country with all the travel that's involved over the season and so on. What did you kind of learn, and what were you looking to build this off season in terms of the locker room chemistry and the type of characters that you need to kind of withstand this league?
Yeah, I wanted to go younger. I made that decision, right at the end of the season, to go younger. Last year, with the one thing the team had last year in the locker room was a great locker room, Ollie. The players themselves really got on, and not to say that every relationship was always going to be great with the manager, but as far as the players within themselves, fantastic. And we want to try to retain that here, where the players enjoy coming to work and enjoy each other's company. We have that, but definitely an idea to go younger. Just because, again, it is a drain on you in this country. Going to Halifax for a game is not easy. I feel for that club, because every single away match for them is a difficult one with their travel.
Yeah.
So because of that, though, that really made me think, yeah, we need to be a younger roster here. We need to be deeper and younger, and that's what we've done. So, but the chemistry piece is massive, especially because I mean, what it's like for any travel to go anywhere on these airlines nowadays. It can be frustrating. It can be it can be a difficult thing going from Edmonton to Halifax, or Edmonton to Hamilton. And, you need players that just have a good character about them, that can just deal with it and roll with the punches and have a laugh at the end of the day. So, yeah, we've accomplished that again this year with a really good group of players.
Mm-hmm.